You famously said when you were younger there were 5 problems that you thought were most important for you to work on. If you were 22 today, what would the 5 problems that you would think about working on be?
In terms of things that I think are most likely to affect the future of humanity, I think AI is probably the single biggest item in the near term that's likely to affect humanity. So it's very important that we have the advent of AI in a good way. That is something that if you could look into the crystal ball and see the future, you would like that outcome, because it is something that could go wrong, as we've talked about many times, and so we really need to make sure it goes right.
We all know Elon loves a good troll session, so I didn't think too much of his based AI tweets, or the memes that followed. But then news started to leak suggesting that Elon was taking real steps to enter the fray and join Google and Microsoft in the AI wars. According to the information, Musk had been approaching AI researchers about forming a new research lab called BasedAI. The goal of the research lab would be to compete with OpenAI and develop an anti-woke, less restricted alternative to ChatGPT, and by proxy Bing's AI chatbot. These leaks were then confirmed by Elon himself the following day. Musk has singled out Igor Babuschkin as his pick to spearhead the operation. Igor is a former senior staff research engineer at Alphabet's DeepMind AI unit who left the company just weeks after Google's fumbled debut of Bard AI. Igor put in 2 separate stints at the Google subsidiary. During a gap of 17 months between the two, he worked as a member of the technical staff at OpenAI. In an interview with The Information, Babuschkin clarified that Elon's goal is not to create a chatbot with fewer content safeguards, but to improve the reasoning abilities and the factualness of these language models. The project is still in a stage of early ideation, but Elon has proved time and time again that he is more than capable of bending reality to turn far-reaching ideas into concrete reality. Welcome to Pathfinder, where we share and break down the latest news and insights in the world of AI and future tech. In this edition of AI News, we'll be exploring the origins of OpenAI, why Elon severed ties with the company, and what his intentions are with BasedAI. Let's begin today's expedition. Elon's AI fears have been documented as far back as 2014. In a 2014 interview with The Guardian, Musk said, "I think we should be very careful about artificial intelligence. If I had to guess at what our biggest existential threat is, it's probably that. So we need to be very careful. I'm increasingly inclined to think that there should be some regulatory oversight, maybe at the national and international level, just to make sure that we don't do something very foolish." Another source comes from his 2015 biography, Elon Musk, Tesla, SpaceX, and the Quest for a Fantastic Future by Ashley Vance, in which 3 minutes into the opening chapter, he shares that the major fear keeping him up at night is that Google's co-founder and then CEO, Larry Page, might, well, have been building a fleet of artificially enhanced robots capable of destroying mankind. "I'm really worried about this," Musk said, voicing concerns that though Page was a well-intentioned person, his nice guy nature left him assuming that machines would forever do our bidding. "I'm not as optimistic," Musk said. He could produce something evil by accident. Alongside Sam Altman and other investors, Elon co-founded OpenAI as a non-profit in 2015 to serve as a counterweight to Google amid his deep concerns that they were not paying enough attention to AI safety. As an aside, I hope you can appreciate the irony here. Founding OpenAI to compete with Google's AI lab, and now founding BasedAI to compete with OpenAI. OpenAI's stated mission was to develop and promote safe, friendly AI that can benefit humanity without being constrained by profit motives or agendas. Hence why he named it OpenAI, open source, non-profit AI research. And Elon invested in that mission to the tune of a $1 billion commitment. However, it's not clear how much of that commitment was delivered on, because Musk resigned from OpenAI's board of directors 3 years later in 2018, citing a Tesla-related conflict of interest regarding talent acquisition and a disagreement on the direction that some of the OpenAI team wanted to take the company. We can only speculate what their disagreement was on, but going off statements he's made regarding OpenAI in the years following his departure and recent weeks, it likely had a lot to do with the team's desire to transition to a for-profit model and withhold some of the AI models they considered too powerful or dangerous to allow public access. In further support of this point of view, OpenAI created their capped profit arm, OpenAI LP, the year after Elon Musk resigned from the board. OpenAI's company structure is something that not a lot of people are aware of, and I'm willing to guess this might be your first time ever hearing of a capped profit company. So let's break it down real quick. OpenAI is an AI research and deployment company that consists of two entities. The original nonprofit entity, OpenAI, which is actually now referred to as OpenAI Nonprofit, and the capped profit entity, OpenAI LP, which today is simply called OpenAI. While OpenAI Nonprofit serves as the parent company, overseeing OpenAI's research and vision, the formation of OpenAI LP allowed the company to legally attract greater venture investment and pursue top talent with competitively lucrative comp packages. This capped profit arm aims to generate revenue by licensing its technology and services to other companies and organizations. Products like ChatGPT, Codex, and DALL-E fall under this arm of the company. Taken directly from their March 2019 announcement of shifting from a non-profit to a hybrid, capped profit model is this explanation.
We want to increase our ability to raise capital while still serving our mission, and no pre-existing legal structure we know of strikes the right balance. Our solution is to create OpenAI LP as a hybrid of a for-profit and non-profit, which we are calling a capped profit company. The fundamental idea of OpenAI LP is that investors and employees can get a capped return if we succeed at our mission, which allows us to raise investment capital and attract employees with startup-like equity. But any returns beyond that amount, and if we are successful, we expect to generate orders of magnitude more value than we'd owe to people who invest in or work at OpenAI LP, are owned by the original OpenAI nonprofit entity. Going forward, in this post and elsewhere, OpenAI refers to OpenAI LP, which now employs most of our staff, and the original entity is referred to as OpenAI Nonprofit.
So, to reiterate, capped profit means the economic returns for investors and shares granted to employees are capped at a pre-negotiated multiple depending on when they invested or joined the company and how much they're expected to contribute to the mission. For context, returns for first-round investors in OpenAI are capped at 100x, meaning that if you had invested $1 million, your maximum potential return would be $100 million. Any additional profits over the set cap are distributed to OpenAI Nonprofit, which aims to deploy these funds to benefit everyone and ensure that artificial intelligence is aligned with human values and can be widely and safely distributed. Despite shifting the company to a more profit-driven focus, the charter for OpenAI LP states that as they continue to pursue their ambitious vision of creating artificial general intelligence, AGI, which is an AI system that can perform any intellectual task that humans can, they will continue to uphold their mission of ensuring that AGI is aligned with human values and can be widely and safely used by everyone. However, many critics, Elon among them, argue that OpenAI betrayed its original vision of being an open-source non-profit organization that promotes collaboration and transparency in AI research, and that the name OpenAI is now a misnomer where closed AI would be more appropriate. While this might not be an entirely fair assessment, given that the costs of conducting and deploying AI research are truly eye-watering, Microsoft's recent investment of $10 billion into OpenAI did not help matters. The complicated structure of Microsoft's investment raised eyebrows and led to questions about how transparent and accountable OpenAI is about its finances and governance. Elon's most recent opinion of OpenAI is that they have become a closed-source, maximum-profit company effectively controlled by Microsoft, not what he had intended at all. This is what has spurred Elon to seriously pursue the creation of BasedAI and to see it through this time. As with his Twitter takeover, Elon is not playing the back-and-forth game. He has moved straight to the end and intends to develop a serious competitor to OpenAI. And as Musk owns Twitter, there's a very high chance that his ChatGPT alternative will not just be a standalone product, but also incorporated into Twitter as its very own AI chatbot. I'm curious what you think about all this. Will Elon's BasedAI be able to successfully compete with OpenAI and create a chatbot better than ChatGPT? Or will his anti-woke approach and intention to create an AI chatbot with fewer restrictions empower bad actors and lead to echo chambers? Personally, what I'm most curious about is how he will structure the company. Will it be an open-source nonprofit as OpenAI was originally intended to be? Or will he go a similar capped profit route? Let's round up today's expedition by seeing what ChatGPT and Bing think about BasedAI and its chances for success.
To outcompete OpenAI, BasedAI would need to demonstrate superior natural language understanding and generation capabilities, as well as ethical and social responsibility. It would also need to gain trust and adoption from users and developers who may prefer the open source and nonprofit approach of OpenAI.
But OpenAI isn't purely nonprofit or fully open source, are they?
I'm sorry if I gave you incorrect information. According to Wikipedia, OpenAI consists of two entities: a nonprofit corporation called OpenAI Inc. and a for-profit subsidiary called OpenAI LP. So OpenAI is still partly a nonprofit, but not entirely. OpenAI has published some of its models as open source, such as Point-E, Whisper, Jukebox, and Clip. You can find their code on GitHub. However, some of their models are not open source, such as GPT-3 and Codex. They have restricted access to these models due to ethical and safety concerns.
I see. So your understanding is that they're partly open source?
Yes, that is my understanding based on the information I have found. Do you have a different opinion?
Let's see if ChatGPT does.
It's difficult to predict which company will come out on top. Both organizations have talented researchers and advanced AI technologies at their disposal, and the development of advanced AI requires significant investment and collaboration from experts across a range of fields. That being said, Elon Musk has a track record of success in disrupting established industries and creating innovative new products, such as electric cars and reusable rockets. His involvement in BasedAI could bring significant attention and investment to the field of AI research, which could accelerate the development of new breakthroughs. Ultimately, the success of BasedAI and its ability to outcompete OpenAI and other companies will depend on a range of factors, including the quality of its research, the talent of its team, the strength of its partnerships, and the ability to attract funding and investment.
That's it for this edition of AI News here on Pathfinder. I hope you enjoyed this expedition into the vast world of AI. And remember, even if AI may potentially one day take our jobs, there's one thing it'll never take: your ability to smash that like button and hit subscribe. So make sure to do both now, because in return, we'll keep bringing you regular updates on AI news and insights. And in all seriousness, it's not AI that will take our jobs, but people who understand and know how to use AI that will. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.